Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the DreamlandXR LBE panel. We have some heavy hitters with us today. We're happy that you've joined us and hope you're having a great day with all the experiences. My name is Tracy Balsz. I am your moderator. I'm representing Technifex XR. We are a special effects company, and we have some services and products in XR that I will be talking about, pitching them. But I'd like to introduce our panel today. So I don't know what order you're looking in, but I'm going to introduce Tammy Brandt. She's the Chief Legal Officer, Head of Business and Legal Affairs at Dreamscape Immersive. Hello, Tammy.
Hello.
Jenni Ogden. She's the co-founder, COO of 4D Fun, President of IQ Productions. Hi, Jenni.
Hello.
And Jan, I'm going to mess this up. How do you pronounce your last name, Jan?
Yeah, I just simplify it to good luck. Jan, good luck.
I love that. Jan's the founder and CEO of Virtuix and develops the Omni VR treadmill and Omni Arena VR esports attraction, which he will be informing us about. Hello, Leif Petersen, founder of Hologate.
Hey guys, hello.
And we have Paul Washburn, head of development and production at Super 78.
Thank you, Tracy.
So all of these companies are working within the LBE industry and coming up with new projects and services, and we're going to share some of those with you today. And I just wanted to give a little bit of background of LBE. I've been in this vertical since the 90s. It dates me, but it's such a fun environment to be in. Of course, entertainment it is, but as I research into XR, and I'm, of course, part of VR AR Association, I discovered that they have different verticals of how to monetize. Monetization is the big deal, right? You're going to do all this work and effort. You got to make money at it. And just the different types of verticals that exist, according to the VR AR Association, it's universities and colleges, training, enterprise, retail, defense, and intelligence. But they don't list LBE. So LBE is a really big territory. I don't know if you know this, but the major studios produce all these platform films because they need location-based entertainment theme parks to make money for them. If they didn't have that vertical adding into their bottom line, they would not be making money. So that's why we have the Disneys and the Universals, and they spend so much at what they do. But across the world, location-based entertainment can be a family entertainment center. It could be any sort of entertainment environment where we're showing branded items, and XR has come into play big time. So much so that there was, if you follow the Themed Entertainment Association, they have an annual awards presentation called the Theas. And last year they presented a Thea for Lionsgate Entertainment World in Zhuhai, China, that their VR experience won a Thea. So it's very proven that it exists and is considered by all new establishments that are building LBE experiences. So it's a valid vertical to be in, and we're here to help you give some insight on what's happening out there in the world. I also just wanted to note that I've learned that the location-based entertainment, themed entertainment world is where new technologies are proven. So from outside of the industry, they come in, they have a minimal viable product that can be quickly put to market and tested and rolled out. So it's, some people think that themed entertainment is the carny world, or, you know, not so professional, but it is the highest professional industry. So I just want to give a little plug for that. Okay, so I'm going to start out asking some questions to some of our panelists. And how is the location-based entertainment industry embracing XR. So I'm going to start with Dreamscape Immersive and let Tammy talk about what she's experienced with the rolling out of Dreamscape Immersive.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. I think that I agree with you that LBE provides an opportunity to bring new technologies and introduce them to users in a way that it's harder to do at the really, large theme parks where they have very high throughput and, it would be a different type of experience. So Dreamscape obviously has been impacted by COVID in that several of our locations have been closed or are still closed. Some have opened up with certain, occupancy restrictions, but we certainly view, LBE as something that's going to come back. We are continuing to evolve our technology, work on new content, look at other verticals during this time, but we are strong believers that there is definitely a market out there, that it's been proven, and that once people are able and comfortable to get back out there, that we think it'll come back in a big way.
Yes, and we are all hopeful for that. So I just wanted to explain a little bit about, if somebody has not yet experienced Dreamscape Immersive, what that means as far as XR.
Sure. So in terms of XR, you buy a ticket and you go to an experience with up to 6 people at a time. And it's a very immersive experience involving very low latency virtual reality technology. So you put on the backpack and the headset, and you have trackers on your hand and your feet, and there's trackers on the back of the backpack, and you're tracking these points, and you can shake hands with folks, and you're really in this immersive experience that lasts between 10 and 12 minutes long. So we have several current pieces of content, several in the pipeline, and it's a very different experience than one has experienced doing just VR at the home.
Right, and so here I'm going to plug in Technifex and how we work together.
Yeah, we do.
So Tammy and her team came to us, and we are a 35-year-old company dealing with special effects for the themed entertainment industry. And we have found ways to marry the VR effects into an AR free roam pod, and it's surrounded by special effects, atmospheric effects, and the motion-based floor. So you feel like you're actually in that environment in the VR, which is completely immersive. It was a unique pod that we developed for them, and it's very interesting technology, how it all works together. So that's a fun environment to be in. We have, I'm going to go to our next panelist and explain another opportunity that is coming about. Jenni Ogden from 40 Fun. What do you have coming out that's XR oriented for LBE?
Right now we are working on several things for VR, volumetric, really music revisualized using volumetric in VR. So we've built out a metaverse, and we'll be doing different experiences and music experiences and concerts. And also we have a project coming out called the Brown Family Diaries. That'll be first quarter for Oculus Quest. So we're really excited about those. Brown Family Diaries is, again, it's music revisualized with a narrative and gaming elements, and featuring Sleepy Brown and Organized Noise. So that'll be a really fun experience. For location-based, we've really been focusing on spatial computing experiences. And just before the shutdown, actually, for COVID, we had a Magic Leap experience with go-karts that opened last year at CES in Vegas at a go-kart place. So that's something that we'll be deep diving into as well for different types of experiences with, whether it's Magic Leap or one of the new AR glasses in spatial.
Is that similar to the Mario Kart that Universal's going to be opening up?
Very similar. As a matter of fact, we were laughing because we were first to market with the technology.
You didn't have the branding money behind you.
But we're not Mario Kart, not yet. But Yeah, it's something that we can rebrand and develop for a variety of things. So whether it's a go-kart thing or a laser tag experience or, you know, a treasure hunt, it's something that'll be really relevant for different LBE, different size LBE attractions as well.
So how does it work with the R&D of this? What made you come up with that idea in the first place?
You
were first to market.
Actually, our CEO for 4D Fun, my business partner, Paul Balsz, that one's his baby. I have to give him props for that for sure. It's this, he's an amazing technologist and he develops everything himself. So he saw Magic Leap and started developing for that and was just really inspired and he just created it. It's amazing. So, you know, and the same with the, you know, the volumetric 4D performances that we're deep diving into. I have 2 partners for 4D Fun, and it's a great pivot. You know, IQ Productions, my other company that's been around for a long time, we focus on location-based and live entertainment, and obviously that's really slow right now, but we've been doing it for years. But we create a lot of visual design for live performance, for full dome, for that, and 3D projection mapping. And we started developing, if we're working on a full dome project, we'll develop it in VR so we can pre-visit in VR without having to be in the dome. And works really well for theatrical, for theater, live theater as well, is to be able to sit in the theater and see what we're creating. And so it was just kind of a natural pivot. I started working with Brian, actually, our CTO for 4D Fun, a few years ago, working on using AI integration, machine learning to break the latency barrier for live projection tracking for, and we were doing it with skateboarders actually. So, you know, I started talking about the different technologies with these guys a couple of years ago, and it was just a perfect time to found, you know, to found the company.
Technologists, we have one on our panel, so I'd like to have Leif give a little discussion about Hologate and how he came up with the systems that he's developed to date.
Sure. So, I mean, my background is pretty similar. I actually worked in visual effects for a very long time, since the 90s, and I played VR for the first time also in the 90s in a virtual reality system in 1993. And so this has been part of my life for a long time. I think when in 2016 headsets finally came to the market that were good enough to actually, you know, now be used for yeah, so like really good experiences. I think this is what then flipped the switch for yeah, pretty much everyone in the industry, and that all of a sudden, you know, the quality is actually at a level where it's just great and people can enjoy it, and it's not like 320 by 240 pixels like in a virtual reality system in the 90s. And so that has, of course, inspired us to build what we do today. So, but yeah.
Do you have any special projects that you want to talk about, that products out there that especially related to XR?
Well, I mean, we're mainly, so I mean, my company before, we were doing, you know, project work in a kind of visual effects space and so forth. And so we stopped doing all of that, and we're just developing our own products. So currently we have 2 products in the market, the Hologate Arena and the Hologate Blitz, and they're now in over 400 locations in 36 countries.
Wow.
So it's a huge network, or the largest LBE network or multiplayer network currently, and that's
impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you. So, and that started in 2017. So we built that in the last, yeah, like 3 years, and it's been very successful and scalable. And we were lucky also.
I remember when you entered the marketplace at the trade show IAPA,
yeah.
Right? And you introduced it to the LBE industry at that trade show, and I think it became a huge
it was an overnight success in 2017, and you know, at that stage it was pretty early, and so no one really knew if there is a market or not. And so we kind of there was already a few companies before us, of course, but it didn't scale so well. And then for us, it just took off. So we just had the right thing at the right time and the right place with the right people, and it was just a perfect moment.
Oh, love those stories. Wish we could all be there.
Yeah, and I mean, it was great also. So it was a really good time. It felt really was really exciting at the time. Really, the kind of good old days, as we always called them. Back then already, we said this is the good old days. It's not going to come back. Enjoy it. So now it's slowly over, I think.
The new days ahead for certain.
Yeah.
Well, let me introduce Jan and talk about his Omni systems. These are new products and really interesting.
Yeah, we've also been in the LBE space for a while, and we started out focused on the consumer market, but we started shipping Omni systems to LBE in 2015, 2016. So we've now shipped nearly 4,000 systems over 500 venues.
Wow.
In 45 countries. Yeah.
You guys are on par for
yeah. But
the race for the world.
Right. Yeah. But initially we were focused on VR arcades and the smaller entertainment venues with the Omni Pro system, and then we decided to bring out a full turnkey solution, which we call Omni Arena, which has 4 Omni systems inside. So it's a multiplayer attraction for 4 players, similar to Leif's attraction, but then with Omni system, so you can actually walk around inside VR. And we call it an esports attraction because it comes with built-in esports tournaments, a $100,000 prize pool, and anytime somebody plays, they can win real money. We have weekly and monthly contests built in, and that drives a lot of repeat play and repeat visitation for entertainment venues.
That's fun.
Are
you competing worldwide too?
Yeah, on Omni Arena, we only sell in the US, but North America at this time. We decided not to go too fast internationally. But initially we did the esports tournaments all over the world with the Omni Pro systems. And Omni Arena, we sell to the higher end entertainment venues, similar to Leif. And I have to give Leif credit. Hologate was really figured out the formula for the higher end FECs, they call it, family entertainment centers, where everything needs to be automated, easy to operate. A 16-year-old staff member needs to be able to operate it, which is it's challenging in VR. And Leif really figured out that formula, and that's why it took off so quickly. Hologate was the first one to really nail how to do that. And so right now there's several attractions, and we play in the same space with ours. So it's been very exciting. Of course, COVID threw a wrench in the machine last year, but I think probably Leif can attest to this as well. I think it's picking back up, at least on our end. We have 7 installs in the next 10 weeks, for example. So it seems like we're turning the corner. We track data. All arenas are online, connected, so we track gameplay stats, number of players, and it actually went up a bit over the summer last year, but then with a flare up in the fall, numbers went back down. But then in recent weeks and over the Christmas and the New Year's period, we're seeing numbers that are getting close to what they were before COVID. In some cases, it also depends on the type of venue. Go-karting venues, go-karting venues, for example, are doing really well. Other venues, trampoline parks, still struggling a bit. So it depends on the type of venue, but we're optimistic. We're off to a great start this year. So.
Well, that's really good news. We're going to share some time together and talk about what everybody has been doing during COVID and using that creative time. But I wanted to give Paul Washburn from Super 78 an opportunity to talk about their XR products.
Absolutely, thank you, Tracy, and definitely inspired, by Hologate, and very, intrigued. Dreamscape immersive. I know Jake Rowell from a long time ago when he was creating the Blue. I was just absolutely fascinated, by what that would turn into, in the early days when he was talking about it. And where Super 78, decided to plug in is that we saw. Certainly challenges, as everyone did, with implementing, VR into LBE venues. Now there are, kind of even further challenges that, we're experiencing with COVID. but our high capacity VR platform allows for 15 to 20 guests to interact and play at the same time. Currently, it is actually still operating, and I just got a ticket sale report yesterday from Moody Gardens in Galveston, Texas, which was very encouraging. Numbers were not as high as they certainly usually are during spring break and normal holiday periods, but it's good that people are still getting in there, and you know, that is another you know place where we really did have those initial challenges where we you know, had operators that were, you know, kind of tasked with running this show that didn't have a lot of experience doing anything, let alone high technical experience. And that's where we really sought to simplify the operations of it, and partnered with Audubon Aquarium of the Americas, as well as Moody Gardens in Galveston, to bring a really educational experience called Reef Rescue, you know, to their venues. Where we've taken countless guests and a lot of school groups through to educate them on the coral reefs, and particularly focus with our partnership with the film Chasing Coral and those filmmakers and scientists to really use real life data and experiences to engage our guests. Like I said, with VR, it's, you know, it creates the ultimate kind of tool to create empathy. And for the guests to really be in that reef and seeing, you know, and kind of feeling and acting what it means to clean up an environment and be able to see the character that you are is a small ROV, mini submarine vehicle that's, you know, kind of charactered, and you can actually see all the other 15 to 20 players in there that are identifiable with their names with you. So if you're in a group, all the players right now are seated. We did have a standing version where when you put 15 teenagers with headsets in a space, became quite apparent very quickly that we needed to put a little more constraints around this here. But when we, you know, had the participants seated and spread out within this, you know, an 800 square foot space, it was still fascinating to see them calling to each other and remarking to each other. And that was really kind of the magic, I think, that our HCVR platform brought. You know, so now we have another installation that will hopefully be opening in Hawaii soon, once, you know, the state opens up a little bit more, and really pushing development forward. And what we've been doing, you know, we've certainly been very blessed to not really have downtime per se over COVID, but really some creative time to repivot in some areas, is we have, you know, our 2016 THEA award-winning technology, Geppetto, which powers real-time character interactions. And, you know, the ability that we have to take a VR experience and then have a live character responding to the guests in real time is absolutely fascinating. And I can't, unfortunately, we were supposed to, the company was supposed to announce something over the holidays, but with COVID, we couldn't get the talent and the casting finalized in time. But we will be soon announcing a very high profile brand partnership that we have that's going to first kind of come out to the world in the virtual influencer space for this high profile brand. And then we see that leading to LBE type opportunities where we're designing a puzzle room with another company in VR that we could see having a great position in the LBE market, because it is such, the brand has such a strong draw. And once, you know, LBE comes full circle, I would really hope to be, you know, talking more to some of your folks, you folks, for guidance on, you know, how to implement this experience, you know, with your, you know, with your experience as operators. You know, so, you know, we're really excited about that. And, you know, that's what Super 78 has really been focused on, is, you know, taking Geppetto to the next level where we're able to have a live, responsive, you know, immediately responsive character in VR, and at that same time can be ported out to other platforms. You know, you could be viewing the experience passively on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Twitch, and these other platforms, while the LBE, the folks who are participating in the LBE environment, can actually interact with the metaverse and the kind of larger world with these particular characters. So that's where we're heading. I wish I could give you a little more detail, but hopefully that is imminent once we can clear to get actors into our studio.
Oh, well, that's exciting. I look forward to hearing that news when it comes out. But I really like how Super 78 is trying to make it a shared experience, even though it's VR, which some people are so afraid of, you know, making it for a large audience and all participating. So kudos to you.
Absolutely. And we see that extension, just because it's an LBE experience, we've already seen so much traction in being able to share that LBE experience with a larger audience simultaneously in terms of the metaverse. So especially with the audience that this brand brings, I think it has the opportunity to create a lot of, generate a lot of interest in terms of people wanting to actually interact with those folks in the LB environment and vice versa. And plenty of challenges that'll go along with that, but all an adventure.
Well, I also wanted to remark that I'm part of the Themed Entertainment Association. I'm a board member. I'm a VP on the Western Division. And we are so welcome to having people from the VR XR industry join the ranks, because we need to all work together. Just like Paul, you mentioned you want to work with all the other people on the panel that are operators. This is where you get to learn about what each other is doing. You form relationships. I met Jenni through it. We became fast friends. So I'll encourage you to join the TEA if you are not already, because we are embracing the world of XR full force, right? And I also wanted to bring up the fact that Jenni is the VP on the New Media Council of the Producers Guild. She's very high level up there. So I wanted to ask you just a quick question about how the PGA, of course, they're adapting into entertainment and themed entertainment, but how they're embracing XR.
Well, I would say XR and location-based entertainment are a big focus. Last year, we actually had, I was very excited to announce the first annual Innovation Award, and that's recognizing innovation in entertainment. And it includes, special venue, AR, XR, VR experiences, everything except for game specific. So if it's a narrative experience, like Dreamscape, definitely. Super 78 was one of our finalists with the Reef Rescue project, actually last year for our first annual. So we just opened submissions for our second annual Innovation Award, and we've extended the deadlines to February 28th for submissions and also for activations. So since COVID kind of, threw a wrench into location-based, we extended those deadlines. So that's very exciting. And the Innovation Award last year, the submissions were amazing. And being the first annual, I was really excited to see so many people participate and so many people in the LBE space and VR as well, because that's where I live, is special venue and VR and AR and location-based activations. So
right.
we had some really cool stuff.
Yeah, we need to get the word out there more and more. I know that Super 78 really embraced it, but we need to teach all the rest of the LBE industry that this new award does exist, because it started out with the THEAs. They were a nothing award in the beginning, and now they're very high valued, and people look to see companies that have THEAs, and they are hired because of that. So it's great that you started that award.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Sorry, Tracy, I was just going to speak to that too. I mean, we do a lot of business, just like I think all of us do internationally. We're definitely not just focused on North America. And that THEA award, having that tied to Super 78 has just, it's really been quite a boon with some of our international clients and that sense of respect and legitimacy. And we're thrilled to be involved more, with the PGA, and continue. Well, we will definitely continue to support those efforts and be involved. And I'm actually putting together my application right now, Jenni, too. So apologies, it's taken me so long. Dave is nudging me along, and he's like, Paul, come on, why haven't you done this yet? So soon I will be on your team, hopefully.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see it then. So yeah, and the Producers Guild, the New Media Council, embraces all of these, technologies and location-based under our special venue category. So we welcome producers of all location-based. So.
Well, thank you, Jenni, because you're the one that instigated that. So it's much appreciated that you started that up. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I know we're also tired of COVID, but some really good things happened during this downtime. And I wanted to share some experiences from our team. what they've been creating, how they've come about working on these new projects, even though there's been a lot of shutdowns, and just try to give some positive news out there. So I'm going to go back to Tammy, and I know you briefly mentioned what's happening with Dreamscape, but what are your rollout plans? Compared to the Void, they're having issues everybody hears about, but what's the positive that Dreamscape has planned, and where are you shut down and where are you open?
Yeah, so I'll start there. We've been open in Dubai since July, and the numbers are solid. I mean, they're still COVID numbers, but they're very encouraging. There's a lot of interest. Our partner over there, Majid Al Fatame, is definitely interested in looking at other venues with us. Not ready to announce anything, but I think you'll see Dreamscape continuing to expand in that part of the world. We are open in Dallas, Texas, and Columbus, Ohio, which are sites that are with our partner AMC. Those locations both have occupancy restrictions, so they're not 100%, given the local regulations. And our site in Los Angeles is completely closed, just given, yes, obviously the LA thing. So I don't think there's anything to announce specifically as to our expansion plans, but the plan is that we are going to expand. So we have partners, we have content, we feel like we showed that there is absolutely a business out there for Dreamscape, and we will definitely be expanding. And since COVID, it was publicly announced, we entered into a relationship with Arizona State University, and we are, looking at adapting our technology and our content into the educational setting, which was already in the works pre-COVID, but as they're the largest online educator in the world. And as you can imagine, obviously online education, and with a lot of XR, components, has become very hot during COVID. So that is definitely an area that we have been focused and working on during this time.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, as a marketer, I encourage everybody to find new verticals to go into. So going into education from entertainment, fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Leif, what's happening on your edge of the world? Because where are you located?
Yeah, so our headquarters is based in Munich, in Germany. So we're based in Germany, but I mean, our products are all over the world. So as I said earlier, it's in 36 countries. I mean, huge majority of them is also installed in the United States. And so, yeah, we get to see, of course, a lot of numbers, and we have all kind of analytics on our systems to look at, the data basically. And I mean, at the end, because I mean, Jan already said that earlier, I mean, we can get a pretty good average, I think, basically globally. And we still had about, I think, like 2.5 million people play this year. And so usually we had about 5 million. So it's been down, and especially in April and May, it was pretty much zero. So no one was playing, everything was closed everywhere around the world. So it just dropped really quick. And then, but it recovered. And so, I mean, now I think levels are at about 70%. So this is of total play. And so that means that some are just closed completely. Some are already opened in regions like New Zealand, Australia, Korea, South Korea, and so forth. So, but of course, there's always, if there's a resurgence, like here in Germany, for example, in summer, it was really good. And so things open up again. We still installed 50 locations in 2020 and in 11 countries. So actually not too bad considering, the overall effects and actually managing to do all this. So in that sense, we didn't downscale anything. Like I of course had a time in March where I wasn't sure, like, do we have to pivot now? What's happening? Some companies in this space pivoted out of it. And so I was also thinking, hey, what do we do? And I thought, okay, let's just wait and let's just try and understand better what this all means. And then I think at some stage now, I mean, we're very strong believers, you know, that also just looking at our numbers and just with a bit of common sense that people are not going to change that much, that they're not going to leave the house and not go out anymore. I don't think that's going to happen, and that's pretty clear. So at the end, you know, once this is over, people are going to go back. And then if you look into history, you know, like you know, there was a pandemic in the last century, and then after that you had the golden 20s, and people went out and, you know, did a lot of stuff out of you know, their own four walls, right? So I think in that sense, you know, this will pass, but of course it's a problem, and it's a bit of a bump, and it's tricky to get through, but that's what it is.
Right. Yeah, I'm very hopeful, actually, and that news is encouraging that you share that your statistics. Jan, what have you found?
Yeah, to echo what Leif said, it's certainly turning the corner when the pandemic hit. We didn't have much downtime. I mean, at all. I mean, if your revenues drop from $1 million a month to zero in a matter of days, certainly there's not much downtime or creative time on our end. You know, so we immediately went into taking measures, fundraising mode. Luckily, we have strong investors, Mark Cuban and VCs, and so we raised immediately a bridge round. But then we kept going. We did, you know, announce a product for the home. This has always been the big vision of our company from the start. It's not that it's been a major pivot for us. It has always, this was already in the works, but certainly COVID sped it up for us. And certainly LBE remains a very important market for us, and Omni Arena continues on. We actually came out with 2 more games during the pandemic last year for Omni Arena, so that work has continued.
Great.
But announcing a home product for the Omni, you know, almost like a Peloton for gamers, if you will, although it's a gaming system, not an exercise device. But that certainly allowed us to fundraise and make it through this pandemic, and now we're in the process of completing a $15 million investment round. So,
Wow.
So in a sense, COVID certainly interrupted our near-term plans and our near-term results, because our out-of-home business collapsed. Of course, now it's recovering, and we're optimistic, and we're seeing strong signs that it's coming back. But in the long run, COVID has helped companies that provide entertainment for the home or fitness for the home, and so we benefited from that with our home product and the fundraising for that. So, but I agree with Leif. The numbers are coming back. Vaccines are being distributed. I think we're 1 to 2 quarters away, probably 2 quarters, to some return to normalcy, or some sort of new normalcy. I don't like to use that term. I agree with Leif. It's
going to change completely. Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I don't think much is going to change completely. I think people will go back to what they did before, and I don't think we'll see great lasting different behavior from people. I just don't believe in that. I think we'll return somewhat to what was before. Some effects will stay in place, but I agree with Leif that we're hopeful, and people will come back to LBEs, and a lot of businesses unfortunately didn't make it. Those that did are well positioned, I think, to capitalize on what's coming. Same with Dreamscape. I'm very happy that they are getting through this alive and well, and I think they'll benefit from the return to LBE.
Well, I'm gonna plug in here Technifex. So most of their clients in the LBE world are the major theme parks, and you know, they've been shut down, Disney, Universal. So they did a pivot a little bit, but it's been in the works for some time. It's just they have more time to concentrate on it. So what we've done is we've gone into the defense vertical and taken our systems that were used for Dreamscape Immersive, that sort of technology, and are applying it to training and simulation in a VR world. So we've always done training and simulation with the special effects that Technifex has engineered, but now it's in a simulated environment, and the pictures will show you that while we have a person in the VR headset that's actually in the immersive space, everybody that's in the room can also watch what they're experiencing. So people can be trained at the same real time, which is interesting. But instead of just hearing the effects in the headset and seeing, we're getting water spritz, we're getting concussion feels, we're getting movement from the base of an explosion. So it's really, it's in something else to be in. I'm not saying it's fun, it's kind of scary, but at least it's real life, and it's for training and education purposes, much what Dreamscape is doing as well. So we found value in that small little pivot that we're doing. Again, I encourage all companies to be in multiple verticals all the time to compensate for if there's a problem in one area.
Yes and no. I think it depends. I do think startups particularly are better served focusing on one vertical and do that really well. I think it's hard to focus on a lot of different verticals. You know, it depends from situation to situation, but
Depends on how big your company and how many people you have to work on it.
Right. Well. Yeah. But it depends on your resources.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to move over to Jenni. I want to hear more about 4D Fun and what you're doing with that new company.
Okay. So obviously this pandemic kind of opened the door to launching a whole new business, and which is exciting. And it really started, I mean, I had a relationship with my partners, Brian and Paul, and was really intrigued with a lot of the technology they were looking at and the development and integrating AI and that sort of thing into what we can do. But then a friend or colleague of mine, my early background was all in music, and I'm still connected with a lot of that world. And a colleague of mine who's a music producer called me up and he said, what's the next thing for performance, for concerts and music festivals and that sort of thing? And I had already been talking to Brian about, where they were going with really integrating 4D volumetric performances into VR. And so that really was, that spurred on the launch of 4D Fun, really is looking at, what can we do with any kind of live performance? It could be the Blue Man Group or, a comedian or a music festival, but how do we recreate that in a way that we're not just looking at an avatar of a performance? And so what we've been developing is integration of a volumetric performance into a VR environment.
Can you explain what that is? It's a 360.
Right. So it's, I like to describe it as if green screen technology and mocap got together and had a brilliant child. That's what volumetric is. So instead of looking at an avatar, you're actually looking at the performance, but it's in volumetric space. So you can fly over, whatever artist, whatever your favorite, name your favorite artist performing. You can go around them, you can experience them in VR.
Nice.
So, but again, you're not losing the micro expressions and the presence of that performance that you get in a live performance by looking at an avatar performing. You're actually getting the presence of a real performance.
Wow, that's very intimate feel then.
Yes.
When you're in there. You're on stage with them.
Yes. Well, or around them, or in a gamified environment with your friends, with your glow stick, whatever you're doing, at a concert. So.
And I think you told me at one point you wanted to concentrate on capturing this content from artists that are older, so that we have this archive of information.
Yes. An archive that can live on forever. So, we're hoping to bring in some, some artists that are, maybe older, but classic, and really integrating them into, those files. And then the beauty of that is you can take that performance and you can put it in any environment, that content will live on forever. And it's not 2D. I think that we're kind of moving away from, we will be moving away from a 2D world. And then the archival footage of it, performances in 2D won't be as relevant, but having a volumetric performance like that can live on forever is something that, you know, we're really excited about.
It's very forward thinking, and that's what this whole industry is about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, does anybody from this panel have other ideas or insight on what's to come in LBE and XR? Hints of new products, services?
We're certainly at Super 78 hoping to pursue more brand integrations, you know, after we get this one off the ground. So, you know, working with, of course, content providers like, you know, DreamWorks, you know, and like other folks that have done to create properties for XR experiences with existing entertainment brands. But we're excited, you know, to kind of turn some other companies that aren't in necessarily direct entertainment vertical, you know, to embrace these types of opportunities. So that's something where we're focused on, you know, which is kind of parallel to our virtual influencer the push here at Super 78.
Yeah. Well, finding the brand opportunities is important because that helps pay for the innovation, basically.
It really does, and it helps just, you know, kind of spring that development forward, and, you know, really give us something to sink our teeth into. And, you know, we're really attuned to working with IP, you know, so we both created our own IP, but also working with other IP and know how to translate that, so it's true to the brand. So it's been fun for us, and something in the future I do see a lot more of is just the, of course, virtual production. But one quick thing that we were able to do was at Super 78 over COVID times is we were actually able to shoot a live action flying film with a micro crew due to the ability of us to using our VR pre-visualization tool and Mushroom. And that we hope that where it connects to this conversation is we really hope that that experience now, given you know, kind of this really push into LBE VR, you know, that all of you folks are a big part of, we really hope to offer some of our flying experiences as LBE VR experiences. And we're currently talking to one of the, you know, another, you know, kind of VR pod manufacturer, and working on, you know, more ways to take those, you know, very high-end flying theater experiences and bring them into LBE VR and have more of a network of where we could share those films with other folks. So not only using VR to produce that film, I did not think I would be able to produce a film. I was the only crew member that traveled to Hawaii to be able to shoot. And we did everything remotely with in terms of creative reviews and setting up shots and all that stuff with our team back in LA. And then hopefully soon enough launching that as both a flying theater experience and an LBE VR experience. That where Super 78 would ideally not take on the role as an operator, but we are open certainly to licensing of those properties. So any conversations that, you know, can be sparked from there with this group, I would be happy to.
What are the locations that you filmed in that could become these?
Well, this particular film was shot absolutely stunningly over and mostly around Maui, Molokai, and Lanai.
Wow.
And it was absolutely tremendous. But we also have a catalog of, you know, all of our flying films. You know, we really hoped that our flying over Indonesia, which we were based in Bali for that shoot and shot over every single province in Indonesia, would be a great LBE VR experience. Yeah. And then we also have Alpha Flight, which is our kind of Mars rescue, all CG flying film. It's not 360, so that's, you know, with as far as LBE VR, that's the only limitation. But for like a pod experience, you know, it is that 180. So again, just, you know, Super 78, a lot of us maybe don't think of us as a content provider or a licensing arm, but we do have several properties to license that could plug into LBE VR experiences.
Nice.
Hey, Paul, I want your job.
Yeah,
right.
It was a great, I mean, yeah, quarantining on Maui was not as bad as, you know, I'm facing a trip to China for a great client soon, and that's a little bit more daunting
yes.
than Hawaii. But yeah, I really hope you guys get to see it soon. We're in post-production right now, and just some absolutely stunning 8K footage all over Hawaii, and with one of the best pilots in the world. So we were super lucky.
8K.
Wow.
Yeah, all acquired 8K, you know, Red Monstro. And then, you know, we're going to try to, you know, we always very subtly incorporate visual effects in there just to kind of enhance things. But we hope that, you know, for us, we really like to bring out the natural beauty. And with Hawaii, not that difficult to, you know, just like, there it is. Just point a camera at it and get the settings right, and you're golden.
Nice.
Well, anybody have any final comments? We're almost up on our time. It's been a pleasure to spend some time with all of you, and I hope the audience out there have learned some great tidbits of information, and we'll continue to explore the LBE industry. We welcome you, open arms, and reach out to all of us via LinkedIn and join our further discussions. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Tracy. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.